Before newspapers became mass media, before social media turned everyone into a publisher, John Locke asked a quieter but deeper question. How do human beings understand anything at all? For Locke, communication was not just about speaking beautifully. It depended on ideas, words, judgment, and the courage to question authority. In this episode, we are not treating Locke only as a philosopher of liberal government. We are asking why his theory of knowledge and language became one of the foundations for modern public communication. A quick visual note before we begin. The historical scenes in this episode are AI-assisted educational illustrations. They are designed to help visualize ideas, settings, and intellectual conflicts from Locke's world. They should not be understood as documentary footage, authentic photographs, or exact reconstructions of real events. The interpretation, narration, structure, and educational argument are original to this episode. Locke lived in a world where truth, religion, and political authority were deeply contested. England had experienced civil war, religious conflict, censorship, exile, and revolution. In that world, communication was not neutral. Words could defend kings, attack churches, justify rebellion, or call for toleration. Locke's answer was not simply, let everyone speak. His deeper answer was that people must learn how to judge. A free society needs citizens who can examine ideas instead of merely obeying inherited authority. In an essay concerning human understanding, Locke argued against the idea that human beings are born with ready-made principles already stamped into the mind. Instead, ideas come through experience, through sensation, reflection, comparison, and memory. This matters for communication because it changes the starting point. If people do not share the same built-in ideas, then understanding cannot be assumed. It has to be built. Communication becomes the work of connecting experiences, clarifying meanings, and testing claims. Locke's most direct relevance to communication appears in An Essay Concerning Human Understanding, particularly in Book 3, titled Of Words. In this section, Locke explains that words are signs of ideas. When we speak, we do not transfer thoughts directly from one mind to another. We use words to point toward the ideas inside our minds. This makes communication powerful, but also fragile. Two people may use the same word while connecting it to different ideas. For Locke, misunderstanding is not simply a mistake. It is a constant risk whenever private thoughts depend on public signs. Locke worried that language could be abused. People may use impressive words without clear ideas. They may hide confusion behind technical language. They may change meanings when it benefits them. In communication terms, Locke is warning us about the politics of ambiguity. A public debate can fail not because people lack passion, but because key words are unclear. Liberty, truth, nature, people, rights, security. These words can enlighten public judgment, or they can become tools of manipulation. This is why Locke belongs in a season about rhetoric and persuasion. Classical rhetoric asked how speakers persuade audiences. Locke shifts the question toward public reason. How can audiences judge the words they hear? He does not abandon persuasion, but he makes it answerable to clarity. Good communication should not merely move people. It should help them examine ideas, define terms, and distinguish knowledge from opinion. In Locke, persuasion begins to meet the modern demand for rational public judgment. Locke's argument for toleration also has a communication lesson. If people disagree about religion, conscience, and truth, The answer cannot simply be forced conformity. Coercion may produce silence, but it does not produce genuine understanding. A tolerant society creates space for disagreement, persuasion, and revision. This does not mean Locke solved every problem of pluralism, but he helped establish a basic principle for public communication. Persuasion is different from force, and belief cannot be manufactured by command. In Locke's political thought, legitimate government depends on consent. That idea changes the role of communication. People are not merely subjects receiving commands from above. They are citizens who must judge whether power is justified. This makes public explanation, argument, and accountability essential. A government that claims legitimacy must speak to the people as reasoning agents. Locke's politics, therefore, depends on a communication ideal. Authority should be open to examination, and citizens must be capable of informed judgment. Locke still matters because modern communication is full of the problems he identified. We argue over words whose meanings shift: freedom, misinformation, rights, identity, science, democracy. But Locke also has limits. Clear language alone cannot remove inequality, propaganda, exclusion, or unequal access to public voice. Still, his lesson remains powerful. A society that cannot clarify ideas cannot deliberate well. Locke reminds us that communication ethics begins before persuasion, in the difficult work of making our words answerable to reason. John Locke helps us see communication as more than expression. Communication is the public use of signs, ideas, reasons, and judgment. His work connects language to knowledge, toleration to disagreement, and consent to accountable authority. In the next episode, we move from Locke to Giambattista Vico, where communication becomes tied to history, culture, imagination, and the making of human worlds.